Hello. We are here to raise awareness about a serious and growing public health problem, the misuse and abuse of prescription medication. Do you recognize these celebrities? Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Heath Ledger, Brittany Murphy, and Marilyn Monroe. Aside from being world-famous celebrities, do you know what they had in common? The answer is they all died of overdoses from prescription drugs. Are you aware that the abuse of prescription drugs is a growing problem amongst teens? Today, we are going to discuss the statistics and bust the myths surrounding prescription drug abuse in order to raise awareness about the risks and dangerous consequences that can result from the abuse of prescription drugs. Of all the classes of drugs abused, the following three are the most commonly abused prescription drugs. They include narcotic painkillers and opioids, central nervous system depressants, and stimulants. Let's start with what you think. Approximately how many prescriptions are purchased in the US each year? The correct answer is 3.8 billion. 3.8 billion prescription drugs are purchased in just the US every year. That's a lot of prescription drugs. Here is an advertisement for Ambien, a common prescription drug that helps people fall asleep.
When morning comes in the middle of the night, it affects your entire day. To get a good night's sleep, try 2-layer Ambien CR. The first layer dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep. And unlike other sleep aids, a second dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep.
How many of you have seen ads for prescription drugs on TV or in magazines? We have all seen this type of consumer-marketed advertisement for prescription drugs. How many countries in the entire world do you think allow this kind of direct consumer-marketed advertisement of prescription drugs? The correct answer is 2. What other countries besides the United States do you think allow this type of marketing? The correct answer is New Zealand. Another question for you. About how many Americans 12 years or older abuse a prescription medication in a year? The correct answer is 7 million. In 2007, nearly 7 million people abused a prescription medication. Did you think the number of abusers was this high? There are just as many new abusers of prescription painkillers as there are of marijuana, as you could see from this graph. In 2007, the abuse of prescription drugs exceeded that for all street drugs except marijuana. So many people are abusing drugs, even more so common than street drugs such as cocaine or heroin. So when I say abuse of drugs, what behaviors do you think would be considered abuse of prescription drugs? The correct answer is all of the above. So, if you have a written prescription from your doctor and you take that medication as prescribed, that is not abuse. When taken as written, prescription drugs have helped cure diseases for a lot of people. What I'm talking about when I say prescription drug abuse is taking a prescription drug that was not prescribed for you, taking more of a prescription drug than you're supposed to, or taking a prescription drug for a reason other than what you're supposed to. Now that we all understand that prescription drug abuse is a growing problem in our country, and we know the behaviors that are considered abuse, do you think that teens are a part of this problem? If you said yes, then you are correct. When we look at the top 5 drugs used by 12th graders in the year 2006, we see that prescription drugs were 4 out of the top 5 abused drugs, only beaten by marijuana. Are you surprised by this data? Let's look at some more statistics on prescription drug abuse from teens. Nearly 1 in 5 teens report abusing medications that were not prescribed to them. 1 in 3 teens report knowing someone who abuses prescription drugs. Every day, 2,500 youth ages 12 to 17 abuse a prescription pain reliever for the very first time. Our goal together is to target this population and reduce this number. So we need your help to raise awareness on the dangers of prescription drug abuse so that we may stop teens before they start. To raise awareness, we also need to know why teens are abusing prescription drugs. Why do you think teens are abusing prescription drugs? The correct answer is any of these reasons. Do some of these reasons surprise you? Some students may not think to improve grades is a reason, but this reason is growing widely and becoming a huge part of college campuses. Many students are abusing stimulants so that they can stay focused for long periods of time and cram for an exam. Many students feel that those who abuse stimulants for academic purposes do have an advantage, and this reason for abuse should be considered academic cheating. Remember that unless you have a prescription, any of these reasons are considered abuse. Let's look at some more statistics on why teens may abuse prescription drugs. Teens admit to abusing prescription medication for reasons including pain relief, anxiety, and increasing alertness. And more than 1/3 of teens say they feel some pressure to abuse prescription drugs. Nearly 10% of teens say using prescription drugs is an important part of fitting in with friends. Remember, if 10% say using prescription drugs is an important part of fitting in with friends, 90% do not think that this is an important part. Again, we want to encourage you to be in the 90% and help reduce the 10% of teens who think this is important. When justifying the prescription drug abuse, what reasons do some teens give? Is it prescription drugs can't be dangerous? Prescription drugs can't be addictive, or it's legal? And the correct answer is all of the above. %40 of teens consider the abuse of prescription drugs to be much safer than street drugs, and 29% believe that prescription pain relievers are not addictive. So in summary, prescription drugs are not safe alternatives to street drugs, and addiction can occur just as easily with prescription drugs as it does with street drugs. Possessing a prescription drug without a prescription is illegal and a felony offense. Tell us what you learned from this presentation and what you thought by completing this short survey by clicking this link.